What a blessing for all of us. A few years ago, when I walked away from the culture, when I turned off the television and tossed out the newspaper, I discovered the Station of the Cross radio station. When I received my first rosary, the Station of the Cross radio taught me how to pray with Mother Angelica. When I received the Divine Mercy message and the Chaplet of Divine Mercy from Stockbridge, Mass., the Station of the Cross was there. When I discovered the Catholic Bible, it was because the Station of the Cross was teaching the ways of the Church. When I wondered about joining the Catholic Church, the Stations of the Cross station sent me the Beginner Series books on Catholicism. That led me to join the RCIA program at St. Stephen's. Walking away from the culture gave God room to work in my life. And through my journey into the Roman Catholic Church, the Station of the Cross was there as a guide. Thank you.
I love the Station of the Cross at 88.1 FM Elmira Corning. Just now I can have the good news with me wherever I go in the Southern Tier.
This is the Station of the Cross 2025 Fall On-Air Appeal, Living the Faith Day by Day. To make a donation right now, please call 1-877-711-8500 or visit thestationofthecross.com. You can also donate through our free iCatholic radio app on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
You're listening to the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, WQOM Natick, WPMW Middleborough Center, WHIC Rochester, W225AR Rochester, W257ER Greece, WLOF Elma, WMTQ Elmira, WHVM Owego, WTMI Fleming, WQAG Oil City, WMIH Geneva, W221DI Erie, WGGO Salamanca, W263CZ Olean, WNEB Worcester, WESO Southbridge, W266DK Southbridge, WACE Chicopee, and around the world on iCatholic Radio.
Thank you. God bless you for iCatholic Radio. It has changed my life.
Go into the world and tell every man that you meet, there is a man on the cross.
A Catholic Take. What you need to know right now. A bold synthesis of inspiration and information. Keeping you up to date on the news and issues from a courageous Catholic perspective.
A Catholic Take with Joe McLean starts now.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McLean. Praise be to God. It is good to be on with you today. We're going to be talking about papal optics and political fallout, something we've been talking about the last day or so with the, His Holiness's response to the Cardinal Cupich scandal, making that even worse, I would argue. Talked about that with Father McTagg last night as well. But today we're getting the image of him blessing an ice block. Listen, we bless all kinds of things in the Catholic Church. I mean, literally, we can bless anything. Praise be to God for it. But it's the optics. And this is the stuff memes are made out of. Literally. Now there's thousands of memes on the internet. We're going to be talking about this because the fallout is real. In fact, Jack Posobiec was talking with Michael Knowles about this and how Charlie Kirk, who was very curious about the Catholic Church, he was hesitant to go down that road further because of Pope Francis, and he was doubtful over Pope Leo. The papal optics is a real thing, and it does have fallout. So we're going to have that conversation with Nicholas Cavazos at 30 past the hour. But I also have some beautiful things to talk about at 14 past the hour. And we are still trying to raise the funds we need to operate as an apostolate. Would you contribute to our cause? We are brought to you by you. We only receive the money that you send us. We don't get money from your diocese or the Vatican or USCCB or USAID. Nobody else sends us money but you. So would you consider a gift and help us start this hour off right? That phone number is available to you right now, 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500. I would ask that you'd call now and start us off and break the ice for us, literally, pun intended, 877-711-8500. You can also donate on our website at thestationofthecross.com. Every donor, no matter the size, gets a 50% discount at Tan Books. Praise be to God. Some exceptions apply, but that's a great deal, 50% off. Also, every donor, no matter the size, goes into the drawing for the pilgrimage to Fatima and Lourdes. But if you could come in at the $1 a day, the mission partner level or above, then you also get other bennies. Like, for instance, getting to hang out with Father McTagg once a month on a live video call. Kind of a cool deal. And there's other thank you gifts as well. You can find out on our website or by calling 877-711-8500. Please call now. All right, let's jump into it. We've got a lot to get to. I'd be grateful if you'd share us with a friend. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thine intercession was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly unto thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand, sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the Word incarnate, despise not my petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And now your saint of the day.
Holy guardian angels, pray for us. Every soul that enters the world is given a guardian angel, assigned to guide and protect them through life and assist them on the path to salvation. According to St. Thomas Aquinas, at the end of a man's life, he will either be accompanied by an individual angel in heaven or be punished by an individual demon in hell. There are 9 categories of angels, known as the 9 choirs, and St. Thomas states that it is the lowest of the 9 choirs, called simply angels, that are assigned as individual guardians to mankind. St. Thomas adds, however, that other choirs are assigned to similar tasks but on a greater scale, and gives as an example the opinion that all earthly creatures are watched over by the angelic choir of virtues. Guardian angels are also assigned to various nations and offices. St. Michael the Archangel was the guardian angel of the Israelites in the Old Testament, and now guards the Church. Michael is also the guardian angel of the office of the papacy. Today's feast was present on many local calendars before it was extended to the whole Church and fixed to this first available day after Michaelmas, the September 29th feast of St. Michael and all the angels. For more about this day and others in the Church's calendar, visit thestationofthecross.com/saintsandseasons. Holy guardian angels, pray for us.
And now your headline news. Breitbart reports Munich Oktoberfest closed after deadly explosion, booby-trapped property, and a fire. The Munich Oktoberfest opening was delayed yesterday after blasts, explosive booby traps, and a major fire in the city linked to a written bomb threat against the festival triggered a police lockdown. One man believed by police to be the perpetrator was found dead after an explosion and fire. It is believed the alleged perpetrator mined his apartment with booby traps, set the fire, and then shot himself to death. The Blaze reports ADL ends its glossary of extremism. Praise be to God. The Anti-Defamation League is retiring its glossary of extremism, a list of over 1,000 entries of what it considers to be extremist groups and people which it claimed served as a source of high-level information on a wide range of topics for years. The ADL has been under intense scrutiny after readers noticed its page on Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk's organization was listed as a hate group. TPUSA's backgrounder on the ADL website remains labeled as the tags of extremism, hate, or terrorism. Let that sink in. And Catholic Vote reports Catholic leaders in India oppose killer's release. Catholic leaders in India are urging the nation's top court not to release a Hindu activist who was convicted of killing an Australian missionary and his 2 children by burning them alive back in 1999. Granting remission to the killer would send, quote, the wrong message to society that one can go scot-free even after committing such a heinous crime, close quote. One priest said. Those are your headline news. The gospel today comes to us from Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. And it came to pass, as they walked in the way, that a certain man said to him, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus said to him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. But he said to another, Follow me. And he said, Lord, suffer me first go first to bury my father. And Jesus said to him, Let the dead bury their dead, but go thou and preach the kingdom of God. And another said, I will follow thee, Lord, but let me first take my leave of them that are at my house. And Jesus said to him, No man putting his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. The Gospel of the Lord. Laus tibi Christi. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Cornelius a Lapide would say, and another also said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. But Christ would not grant his request because parents very often do not approve of the higher life and sometimes dissuade their children from adopting it. Oof, is that not a stake to the heart of every parent? But it's true. Many vocations are dissuaded by the parents. They don't want to give up those grandkids, do they? St. Basil would say, thinks that the man, like the one who preceded him, was a disciple, and that he only sought permission to say farewell to his friends, as about to return to them no more. The Syriac favors this interpretation and translates, quote, let me go salute, i.e. to bid farewell to my family at home, and I will come again. And Jesus said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. Or to carry on the metaphor, is fit to work in the vineyard of God. For as the plowman who seeks to make his furrows straight ought to look forward and never back, so he who has determined to consecrate himself to God's service is unworthy to be Christ's disciple and to be an heir of the heavenly kingdom if he still has regard for the perishable possessions of this world, which he has renounced and given up. He who follows Christ ought forthwith to give up all things, lest by averting his eyes from his leader and guide, he might again be entangled by the sight of those things which he has left. Oof, you've got to give it all to God. You can't be halfway. You can't be lukewarm. You can't be on the fence. Christ, in this very remarkable verse, Cornelius a Lapide goes on to say, points out the way of perfection and endeavors to withdraw the man from his own anxiety for his friends and possessions in order that he might give himself up wholly to God, especially as there was danger lest delayed in the disposal of his property or impressed with the value of his possessions, he might change his purpose and, like many others, lose the hope of his calling. You've got to make that sheer determination to give it all up, to leave it behind, just like the sons of thunder did when they encountered Christ. They left their nets and they followed him. It's all or nothing, which is why we fight so feverishly, so zealously for Holy Mother Church and what is true, what is good, what is beautiful in the world. Because this world is like an infectious disease. It will come and it will creep and it will grow and it will fester and it will lead you away from what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. Make your choice and never look back. If that's something you believe in, why not call and make your pledge of support right now? 877-711-8500. I've got people to thank and more of a beautiful story to share in 2 minutes.
I was raised Catholic, but then I got involved in the evangelical Christian movement. But I was in a position where I was questioning my faith and why are there so many different opposing teachings and where was the truth? I was searching and I came to a point where I just didn't know what to believe anymore, and I never considered the Catholic faith a kind of Protestant station. I always listened to a certain program and I pressed the button and I accidentally pressed the wrong button. Unbeknownst to me, someone had keyed in the Catholic radio station and they were talking about exactly my issue, that there were so many different opposing teachings. How could they all be true? And I never went back to the other station. I just just continued to listen. And from there on in, I just was hungry. I wanted to learn more. And I started listening to Catholic radio, and I started studying the early church fathers as recommended on Catholic radio. And I just came to the point where I knew that I had to return to the Catholic faith a year later. And it was because I had accidentally pressed the wrong radio station, and it happened to be Catholic radio. I was very thankful for Catholic radio, and that it led me to the fullness of truth. I've been back now for 4 years. It led me to have a hunger for studying the faith and knowing why the church teaches what it does, and not just accepting what people tell me, but I now wanted to study and see why the church teaches what it does.
This is the Station of the Cross 2025 Fall On Air Appeal, Living the Faith Day by Day. To make a donation right now, please call 1-877-711-8500 or visit thestationofthecross.com. You can also donate through our free iCatholic radio app on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
It's helped me stay informed and educated about what the Catholic Church teaches and the Church's point of view on important issues and how to speak to others about my Catholic faith in an informed manner. It also helps remind me to keep prayer and God at the center of my daily life. And I thank you for having this radio service.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClain. Praise be to God. It is good to be on with you. Hey, coming up here at 30 past the hour, Nicholas Cavazos is going to be back on the team from the Traditional Thomist podcast. And we're going to be talking about papal optics, with his Pope Leo's comments on the Cardinal Cupich scandal, just making that, I would argue, 10 times worse. Now we have the blessing of the ice ball. Okay, you can bless anything. I'm all right with that. We can bless literally anything. Praise be to Jesus. But the optics of this, the optics are just, it's not good. And it has tangible effects in the world. Jack Posobiec was talking about this with Charlie Kirk, saying he was interested and would debate Catholic theology, but Pope Francis and even his doubts of Pope Leo kept him at bay. So there's a real world effect there that we want to discuss with Nicholas Cavazos coming up at 30 past the hour. But I've got a lot of people to thank, and then there's a beautiful story I want to get into in this segment with you. But can I just say, Donna from Rochester, New York, $250 one time. Thank you, Donna. I really appreciate that gift. It's a dollar for dollar match this hour, which means Donna's $250 became $500 immediately. Andrea from Florida, praise be to God, one of our insiders. She's such amazing. You donate all the time. We're so grateful to you. $50 one time. Prayer for Christine, who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and for Corinthia, who is trying to find work. We're praying for your intention, Andrea. You are amazing. Thank you for being on the team. We do appreciate you. 877-711-8500. Scott from Marcellus, New York is here for $100 one time. Matching gift. That just became $200. Praise be to Jesus. Pray for his neighbor, Don. Scott, we're praying and we're grateful that you are on the team. We had some other gifts come through, I think over the night as well, online. You can donate at our website at thestationofthecross.com, thestationofthecross.com. I want to thank Kelly from Lawrence and Rachel from Roanoke. Praise be to God. Thank you for your gifts. That really means a lot to us. Gary from Webster, New York as well. Praise be to Jesus. Thank you, Gary. Paul Michael asked for prayers for his mother, Marcia, whom he loves beyond compare and who turns 80 this November on Thanksgiving Day. Please pray for a Hail Mary and a Hail Holy Queen for his mother. Please also pray for his sister, Donna, who has recent health issues and is his guardian. We're going to be praying for that, Paul. Thank you for that. Also, Catherine from Edmond, Oklahoma. Hey, Oklahoma, beautiful place, considering living there. Says, thank you for all you do. Love this station and the banter. Karen from Taylor, South Carolina is here with a $52 gift. Venny from Plainville, Connecticut is here with a $10 gift one time, which means it's matched. So all of those gifts are matched. Praise be to Jesus. And Donna says, please pray for our families here and for peace around the world. We are praying for all of your intentions. Be assured of that. But hey, listen, everybody who donates, not only is it matched dollar for dollar in this hour, so it takes your hard-earned money and stretches it even further. But you go into the drawing for the pilgrimage for to Fatima and to Lourdes. I mean, the monetary value of that pilgrimage is way bigger than the gift you're about to give, right? Think about it, and from that terms, you're going to get a wonderful opportunity should your name be drawn to go on a life-changing pilgrimage. It's a wonderful gift, so please consider making use of that today by getting in on that drawing at 877-711-8500. You can also donate on our website. Plus, in addition to that, you get a 50% discount at Tan Books. Some exceptions, I'm not sure which books don't or are not included in that deal, but it's a great deal. I mean, I have a massive collection of Tan Books, and 50% off, that's a wonderful deal. Make use of it. 877-711-8500. So far, we've raised about $400 this hour on our way towards $5,000. Would you consider helping us chip away? I'd be grateful. Like Sharon did on our YouTube feed. Praise be to God, Sharon, one of our great insiders. Love having Sharon on the team. She's been so amazing to us. $100. Thank you for that, Sharon. And then there was an anonymous gift of $5. Praise be to God, all through the YouTube link. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you see that donate now blue button. Smash that, contribute to the cause, and join us. We'd be so grateful to have you. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Again, Nicholas Cavazos coming up at 30 past the hour to talk about the papal optics and political fallout of all of that. But I saw a story over at Catholic Vote, catholicvote.org. It piqued my interest. And it's the headline says, "Making Churches Beautiful Again. Meet the Liturgical Woodworkers Restoring New England Churches." Now, I lived in New England for 10 years, praise be to God. And so this is part of the reason why I caught my eye. And this is about a man by the name of Larry Rue out of Massachusetts and his apprentice, who is, I think, from Brazil originally, Lucas Porto. And Larry talks about how he studied architecture in Houston, Texas, my backyard, praise be to Jesus, and how he got involved in this liturgical woodworking. And part of it was just out of a fear that it would be a lost art, that there's nobody left to do the beautiful work of building altars, altar rails, pews, and other items that make liturgical worship more elegant, more beautiful, more traditional. And I'm looking at his work, just looking at the confession box alone is inspirational. But he brings up something I think is very interesting to me on a number of levels. Number one is just this desire to take what has been handed on and make sure it gets handed on again. It seems to be a little bit of a lost art in our modern culture, to take what is good, true, and beautiful and make sure the next generation gets to enjoy that and then hand that on as well. And then, of course, it reminded me of when I became Catholic, because I entered the Catholic Church in 1999 at the Easter Vigil at the Cathedral of Manchester, New Hampshire. I've told this story before, but, you know, just the other day we were celebrating our 25-year wedding anniversary, and as I proposed to my wife, she told me I had to become Catholic. At the time, I was a third-degree Master Mason. I had been raised in the Church of Christ, but I was pretty much a hedonistic person, a secular person, addicted to pornography and self-indulgence. And I only agreed to join the Catholic Church to check a box. I was not truly interested in Catholic theology. She said I had to become Catholic to marry her. That was the price of admission. I definitely wanted to marry her. So that is what I did. I joined RCI, and it took place in the basement of the cathedral of the St. Joseph Cathedral in Manchester, New Hampshire. And at the time, when I became Catholic, it was bland. Green carpets, no statuary, no iconography, just bland, uninspirational. It was a big church, had big organ, but it was a bland church. And I've said this so many times before. It boggles my mind. Why was I so lethargic? Why was I so spiritually asleep as to not recognize the problem with the blandness of the place? I mean, it had beautiful stained glass windows. I mean, it's a 150-year-old church. It goes way back. The parishioners themselves built this church. They worked the mills during the day, and before heading home for dinner, they'd put in a stent laying brick and building this church. And then they'd go to bed and do it all again the next day. But I had visited some of the most beautiful churches in Europe as a kid with my dad. Always Catholic, by the way. We didn't visit Protestant churches, even though that's what we were. We'd only visit the big, beautiful Catholic churches in Austria, Germany, Bavaria, Italy. And they were all incredible. But for whatever reason, when I became Catholic in 1999 at the cathedral in Manchester, New Hampshire, I didn't bat an eye at the green carpet or the blandness of the place, the lack of statuary or iconography. I just thought it was normal. I guess the new normal. And then, by the grace of God, the bishop in New Hampshire renovated the place. And it's stunning. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to go back. I was giving a parish mission in Hudson, New Hampshire. It was such a blessing to go. I brought my whole family back because I'd lived there for 10 years. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to bring the entire family with me and be able to give three lectures at a parish over the course of a few nights, and then spend time with friends and family while we were there. And one of the first things we did was we went to go visit the cathedral to take our kids to show them where their mom and dad got married. And the door was locked. But by the grace of God, they let us in, and we were stunned at the gorgeousness, the beauty, the elegance of the new high altar. They ripped out the green carpet. They renovated and repainted the place, and it is beautiful. They installed like a 14-foot high, it's just a massive high altar, which was designed by the same architect that designed the cathedral initially. Between the rector of the cathedral and the bishop, there was an effort to restore beauty, goodness, and tradition. The statuary is back. The iconography is back. It accentuates the beauty and grandeur of the stained glass. And everybody who walks in there now sees it for what it truly is. Beautiful, stunning, and good. And if we don't pay attention to that, if we don't take up this call, just like Larry Rue in Massachusetts, who it's not even his full-time job, he does this on the side to do the beautiful woodworking necessary to contribute to the cause of passing on what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. In a world that is sanitized, in a world that is artificial, in a world that is synthetic, in a world that is left to its own sinful and concupiscent desires, there must be some who stand out in that noisy field and say, no, I want what is beautiful. And Larry from Massachusetts is doing just that. I think this is an inspirational and beautiful story. I think it illustrates part of the mission of what we do here at the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network when we address big, important topics. When we get into the weeds over, for instance, what we're about to talk about with Nicholas Cavazos on papal optics. Why is that important? Because the more we look like the world, the less effective we are going to be in the world. If we truly want to convert the world, which is our calling, then we've got to give them the goods. No holding back. Clarity and with charity, sure, but truth, like sword bearers, we must proclaim it. Why? Because we have charity and desire for all souls, not some souls. If we wish for the most lethargic, spiritually lethargic souls to wake up, then we've got to proclaim what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. And golly gee whiz, I got to tell you, it's not an easy thing to do, which is why we're coming to you for your help and asking you for your contribution. Because we don't get big USAID money. We don't get USCCB money. We don't get Vatican money. Your diocese isn't cutting us a check. Your parish isn't cutting us a check. You are the wind in the sails. Do you want to convert your backyard, or let's just say thousands of strangers that you will never know this side of the heavenly veil? Then you've got to contribute to the work of evangelization. How much of your hard-earned money is going towards that? Like Daria. in Worcester, Massachusetts. $100 one time. Praise be to God. She attended the 25th anniversary conference last fall and met Joe. Praise be to Jesus. Good to see you, Daria. And everyone, and wants to say hi and listens every morning. It's the best place to get the news you don't hear anywhere else. Please pray for her son, Maxfield. We are praying and grateful. Call now. We need your gift. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. We'll be right back.
Catholic radio shows that there's other people out there like me that still search and want to know more about their faith. Prayer from Catholic radio has helped me tremendously with the Divine Mercy in the afternoon. I never heard of the Divine Mercy growing up. Just learning that on the radio has changed my faith tremendously. I love the shows where people call in that aren't Catholic and question why we do things as Catholics as if we're some strange foreign people, but it's great to hear those apologetics on the radio because it builds your strength in your own faith to want to go out and live it and not be afraid to talk about your faith, not be afraid to tell people you're going to pray for them. I literally have called in to pray for family or friends that have been ill. It's wonderful. And it's just an addition to your faith that people don't even know exists out there. And you're driving around every day. You're running your kids as a taxi driver every day. It's something to put on instead of the crazy music that fills your brain with nothing half the time. So Catholic radio has just made my day even more spiritual because it's a place that I can turn on my faith just during the day when normally may not have thought about Christ. It makes you feel more confident about who you are and what you believe in. A lot of times I feel like, oh man, I wish I knew as much as some of the people I'm listening to on Catholic radio. That's the way to learn, is to just keep listening.
This is the Station of the Cross 2025 Fall On Air Appeal, Living the Faith Day by Day. To make a donation right now, please call 1-877-711-8500 or visit thestationofthecross.com. You can also donate through our free iCatholic Radio app on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClain, and here are your headline news. Just the News reports Fed Governor Lisa Cook to keep job until SCOTUS rules on firing. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook will keep her position with the Supreme Court trying to consider arguments over the president's authority to fire her amid allegations of mortgage fraud. The court agreed to hear the issue on an expedited basis. In Catholic News Agency reports Pope Leo XIV says he will not interfere in Cardinal Becciu's court case. Regarding the court case of Cardinal Angelo Becciu, the former Deputy Vatican Secretary of State convicted of embezzlement, aggravated fraud, and abuse of office, Pope Leo said, quote, the trial must go forward, and that he has no intention of interfering in the legal proceedings that are underway. The Pope's comments were made about 1 week after the commencement of Becciu's hearing before the Vatican Court of Appeal. Hey, what's the word on Rupnik? Anybody? Anyone? Anywhere? Yeah, all silent. Anyway, Catholic Vote reports Israel surrounds Gaza City and targets civilians. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz yesterday announced that the Israeli Defense Forces had surrounded Gaza City and will treat all residents who remain there as terrorists and terror supporters. The city is home to Gaza's Catholic and Orthodox churches, whose clergy and religious have vowed to stay put and care for the wounded and elderly who cannot travel. And those are your headline news. 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500. We'd be grateful for your best gift, your generous donation towards our cause. It's our Fall On Air campaign, Living the Faith Day by Day. You can donate on our website as well, but we've raised about $500, praise be to God, but we need about $5,000. So I'm going to need another 3 or 4 people calling in and chipping away. It's dollar for dollar match. So whatever you can do, it gets doubled right away. 877-711-8500. Don't forget, you get access to being possibly winning a trip to Fatima and Lourdes. That's going to be an amazing thing. You get a 50% discount on 10 books. If you can come in at the mission partner level or above, you also get access to a monthly meeting with Father Robert McTagg, a live video chat. It's almost like a one-on-one opportunity. You can do that and find more information on our website, thestationofthecross.com, or you can call 877-711-8500. Please call now. We need your best gift. Or you can donate right on the live video feed on YouTube as well. Smash that donate button and contribute to the cause. Praise be to Jesus. But we've been talking about yesterday, especially got really deep into this on my show as well as on Father McTagg's program, about Pope Leo's comments on the Cardinal Cupich scandal, the Dick Durbin Cardinal Cupich scandal. I would argue Pope Leo made that a lot worse. And then, of course, yesterday we saw the video of him blessing a block of ice. The optics of it. It's just the optics of it. We can bless anything. I mean, guns, alcohol, crops, anything can be blessed. There's a blessing for everything. So a block of ice is no exception. But it's the optics of it that I think are part of the issue. And here to talk about that is the traditional Thomist, Nicholas Cavazos. Good morning to you, Nicholas. Thank you for your time. What say you, sir?
It's super cringe. That's really the basic version of what I have to say. But it's good to be with you, my friend. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's the stuff memes are made for, right? I mean, literally, it's become a meme 10,000 times over today. And it's like, how helpful is that in what we are called to do?
Yeah, I mean, in the actual traditional classical mission of the church, it's not helpful at all. It's something that I don't think a lot of people, particularly with the first round of scandal that we saw with the horrible comments about pro-lifers, I don't think Catholics have fully digested how absolutely disastrous that comment was. Because unlike, for instance, in the Pope Francis era, where it was kind of hopscotching around issues, ambiguous language when it came to like the death penalty question. And of course, there was the whole, oh, he's not speaking English, translation stuff, yada, yada, yada. We now have an American Pope who speaks clear English and is speaking in a way which is not only suggesting that the death penalty is not a prudential matter anymore, but it is now something that is morally bad, it sounds like, because he's at least putting it on the same level as abortion and as the quote-unquote mistreatment of immigrants. And I don't think Catholics understand how absolutely bad this is, considering the fact that central to Catholicism's claim for truth is the notion that the papacy is established by Christ to hand down unblemished the deposit of faith. And when you have clearly popes in the same century contradicting one another, and then, of course, the whole kind of pope-splaining racketeer online trying to explain this stuff away, it makes the faith look absolutely nutso to anybody with rational thinking.
Yes, I want to get into that in a second, but let me just give out this phone number. We're talking to Nicholas Cavazos, traditional Thomist, and I want to thank Anthony from Westwood, Massachusetts, $250 one time. Praise be to God. Matching gift, that became $500 right away. So thank you, Anthony. Says, please pray for my wife, Brenda. Anthony, be assured of that. We also have masses said for all the intentions of our donors in our chapel in Buffalo. And Susan from Indian Orchard, Massachusetts. $25 one time. That became $50 in a matching gift. Plus, you got that 10-book discount of 50% off. That's a great deal. Thank you, Susan. Says, pray for safe travels for her daughter, Amanda, who is coming to visit from the Netherlands. Praise be to Jesus, Susan. I'm so grateful you are on the team. Thank you for your contribution. 877-711-8500. If you like straightforward conversation about the big issues, then you've come to the right place. But we do need your financial contribution to continue that. 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500. Nicholas, one of the things that I picked up on this, I guess it was just this morning, I saw this in my feed. Jack Posobiec and Michael Knowles sort of reminiscing about Charlie Kirk a little bit. They're both Catholic, and they were, they both had debates with Charlie Kirk on the Catholic faith. Michael Knowles had one publicly on video. I don't think that really went well. I was a little upset with Michael Knowles over that, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, Jack Posobiec says, whenever Charlie and I would debate theology, He'd point out the behavior of Pope Francis as a huge sore spot, and he wasn't optimistic about Pope Leo. I mean, this is a repeating story here. We've heard it a billion times. There's a lot of people who might consider the Catholic faith, but because of the shenanigans of, like, say, Pope Francis, for example, they stay back. They don't come in, or they might go Eastern Orthodox, but they don't become Catholic. That's a definite problem, don't you say?
Yeah, it's the issue that I brought up last time I was on your show, which is anytime someone tries to go and do any type of apologetics with someone who's not Catholic, particularly someone who's of a more, let's just say, politically conservative persuasion, all that opposition person needs to do is really come forward and say, yeah, I like all your arguments. I like the philosophy. I like the church history and stuff. But what about Pope Francis? Right? That card is a battering ram that destroys so many of the Catholic answers, because Catholics are basically trying to cheat. What's unique about Catholicism is this. You're trying to say this. Catholicism is uniquely established by Christ. And we know it's uniquely established by Christ because he gave to St. Peter the keys of the kingdom of heaven. He gives to him this role as shepherd and minister of the whole church. And through the powers of apostolic succession, the same faith that Peter in the early church had is the same faith that you can have today. A lot of us converts, that's the reason we converted, is because we were seeking after the ancient faith. But yet when we have popes who are getting up and not just saying things that are confusing, but saying things that are blatantly incorrect, things on the nature of the death penalty, saying that if you support the death penalty, you're no longer pro-life. As many of us have pointed out, it not only calls into question Catholicism, but it also calls into question the whole historical notion of Catholicism, because you're saying to yourself, okay, so are we going to say 260 plus popes, they're not pro-life? All of these catechisms aren't pro-life. All of these ecumenical councils aren't pro-life. The Bible himself is not pro-life. I guess God himself is not pro-life either. All of these become major, major issues. And for a lot of people out there, they don't want to put up with anymore, especially after the last 13 years, these crazy a priori philosophical theories about how you can somehow get this statement to fit with this scholastic, to fit with this other pope, i.e. the pope-splaining thing. You know why they don't have time for that? Because they have to go to work. They have to take care of their children. They just want to pray. They don't have time for these nutsy Fagans online. And so when they see comments like these, what they're saying is, Father, Holy Father, please clarify yourself and please speak very clearly, because I need to make some serious moral decisions. And these ambiguous comments and going and hanging out with an ice block while there's a pagan ceremony going around it, it doesn't help anybody.
No, it's not helpful at all. But you know what it is helpful is Michael from Westfield, Massachusetts at $1,000 one time. Thank you, Michael. That was incredibly helpful. That puts us very close to $2,000 so far raised this hour. So thank you. That was big. By the way, that is a matching gift. So that 1,000 became 2,000 right away. Praise be to Jesus. Ask for prayers for his children to return to the church. A very, very common prayer. I would say it's the one we get more than any other prayer request, which is to pray for the return of our loved ones to the church. Is that something you want to do? Is that something you believe in? Do you want to contribute to bringing people back into the church? Then you have to contribute to the cause of evangelization. If we're being honest, most of our hard-earned money might go to all kinds of wonderful, beautiful, incredible charitable things. Our parish is a great example of that. Maybe it's the soup kitchen or what have you, your kid's Catholic school. All of these things are great things. But how much goes to specifically trying to transform the society? I would say it's very little. So, Michael, your contribution, Susan, Anthony, Daria, Scott, Donna, Andrea, and even Anonymous on YouTube just gave $50. Praise be to God. Thank you for being on the team. Really appreciate that. God bless you and God love you for it. 877-711-8500, asking for your best gift today. 877-711-8500. Yeah, Nicholas, yesterday I retweeted Dr. Taylor Marshall. He put out this tweet about this list of popes who have explicitly supported the death penalty. And it's a long list. I mean, it's a long list, right? So I retweeted that, and he asked the question, were all these popes not pro-life because they supported the death penalty? Well, somebody responded to me by saying with their list, Pope JP2, Pope Benedict XVI, Pope Francis, Pope Leo XIV, saying the death penalty was opposed by them. And he basically says, quote, all the most recent popes chosen explicitly to lead our church in these modern times. So, I mean, it begs the question, is it the Pope's job to lead the church in a new direction? What say you?
No, and that's the issue, is that so many people have really bought into just this kind of papalolatry, where just because the Pope happens to be the head of the church, if the Pope can lead the church into new doctrines, then that's okay because he's the Pope. When in reality, Vatican I and every ecclesiastical manual that you find before the council is very clear that the magisterium, while living, also has a mark or a characteristic that's unique about itself. It's called the traditional mark or note of the magisterium, which is fancy theological language for lay people out there that basically just means that when our Lord instituted the papacy, he said to St. Peter, hey, don't go around changing what I gave you. Of course, theology can develop, doctrine can develop, but it doesn't develop to the point where it's antithetical or against what was previously taught. Rather, it's just greater insight on what was given by our Lord. And so, for instance, when we look at individuals like John Paul II and Pope Benedict, we see them not saying that the death penalty is intrinsically immoral by principle, rather that in a practical prudential matter, maybe we can start to work for its lessening because we have bigger jail facilities, et cetera, et cetera. I personally still don't agree with that. I said yesterday on my show that I believe the death penalty should happen very liberally, especially nowadays. But it was really with Pope Francis changing it to inadmissible and then an interview saying it was immoral where this whole insanity began.
877-711-8500. We're having a conversation about papal optics and the political fallout with Nicholas Cavazos. More on that in 2 minutes. But we are coming to you to ask you for your financial contribution towards our apostolate so we can continue our radio apostolate, our video and podcasting, and so much more. It only happens with your generosity. 877-711-8500. We're very close to $2,000 so far this hour. We're looking for 5,000, so I'm going to need more hands, and many hands make for light work. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Catholic radio shows that there's other people out there like me that still search and want to know more about their faith. Prayer from Catholic radio has helped me tremendously with the Divine Mercy in the afternoon. I never heard of the Divine Mercy growing up. Just learning that on the radio has changed my faith tremendously. I love the shows where people call in that aren't Catholic and question why we do things as Catholics as if we're some strange foreign people, but it's great to hear those apologetics on the radio because it builds your strength in your own faith to want to go out and live it and not be afraid to talk about your faith, not be afraid to tell people you're going to pray for them. I literally have called in to pray for family or friends that have been ill. It's wonderful. And it's just an addition to your faith that people don't even know exists out there. And you're driving around every day. You're running your kids as a taxi driver every day. It's something to put on instead of the crazy music that fills your brain with nothing half the time. So Catholic radio has just made my day even more spiritual because it's a place that I can turn on my faith just during the day when normally may not have thought about Christ. It makes you feel more confident about who you are and what you believe in. A lot of times I feel like, oh man, I wish I knew as much as some of the people I'm listening to on Catholic radio. That's the way to learn, is to just keep listening.
This is the Station of the Cross 2025 Fall On Air Appeal, Living the Faith Day by Day. To make a donation right now, please call 1-877-711-8500 or visit thestationofthecross.com. You can also donate through our free iCatholic radio app on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McLean. Praise be to God. And can I thank Maria from Medford, Massachusetts. Massachusetts on the board today, big time. Praise be to God. $100 one time. That got doubled to $200 in a matching gift, dollar for dollar match hour. And you got that 50% off at TAN. Thank you for that. You also got put into the drawing for the pilgrimage to Fatima and Lourdes. And we are praying for your intention to pray for continued health, peace, family, and love. Maria, be assured of our prayers for that. Thank you. That puts us at $18.75 for the hour, and we're in our last segment now, so we're going to need a lot of phone calls to come in if we're going to hit our goal. So please do consider your best gift right now in this matching gift opportunity, 877-711-8500. Patricia called in, says, please pray for health and conversion of my family members, especially my sister Daria, who will be having hip surgery on October the 14th. Be assured of our prayers for you for that. 877-711-8500. You can also donate right on our website as well at thestationofthecross.com and click that blue donate button. You can also do that on YouTube as well. But we do need your calls to come through. 877-711-8500. I want to play this clip here from Jack Posobiec commenting on the whole death penalty thing from Pope Leo's comments to the press. Have a listen.
I liked what Pius XII says there. It is not the state depriving you of your right to life. You have deprived yourself of the right to life because of what you've done.
Right.
That's incredible.
Right.
And spot on. You have made the decision. We've lost that part of, I think, this argument. Would you agree, Nicholas Cavazos?
Yeah, who honestly knows what the church teaches? Because you have on that one hand Pope Pius XII saying that you've lost your right to exist because you've gone and committed some type of heinous act. And now we're told that if you support what Pius XII said, you're now no longer pro-life. So I don't understand what the heck is going on.
I mean, I guess it comes down to what does it mean to be pro-life? If being pro-life means can I not do any corporal punishment? Like where does it become no longer pro-life if I punish my child for breaking the rules, for instance? Do you know what I mean? Like the philosophy of it seems to be disconjointed.
Well, I think what happened is that in 28, Pope Francis revised the catechism. You know, he has this interesting line in his revision which says something to the effect of that capital punishment is an offense against man's dignity. It's a wounding against man's dignity, and it runs contrary to the gospel. He uses lines along that nature. When it's really interesting, because when we juxtapose this to Genesis 9:6, God himself mandates capital punishment because you have a man who's made in the image and likeness of God attacking his fellow man who's equally made in the image and likeness of God. And so it does beg the question, what does it even mean to be pro-life? And I think that in our own political world, what makes this so sad is that for every average Joe that's out there listening, when you guys hear the phrase pro-life, you all know what that means. It just means that you're anti-abortion, you're anti the slaughter of the unborn, as you should be. But now when you look and you see that the Pope is saying, okay, if you believe that Charlie Kirk's assassin, again, alleged assassin, because he hasn't been charged yet, but alleged assassin deserves the death penalty, you're now no longer pro-life because this is somehow contrary to the gospel, when in fact it's not. And so what happens and what leads to this is it leads people to kind of just add on one more tile in the notion of the Catholic Church, as I put it yesterday, kind of the conciliar project going crazy. Because we have to remember that while we're being told that we're no longer pro-life, Latin masses are getting shut down worldwide. The Pope doesn't seem to be doing anything about that. Nigerian and Congo Christians are being slaughtered by Muslims, and we see very little action with that. And then on top of that, we see no condemnations of any of the major issues that are taking place in our own society. We can all, of course, want and just, and try to support unity, which seems to be Pope Leo's thing, but it has to be a unity founded in something, right? Not just kind of a unity unto nothing. It has to be a unity unto Christ. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
No, you're right. You're spot on. 877-711-8500. Just heard that phone line lit up. I appreciate that. Please keep them coming. Helen, thank you for being on the team. $25 gift over on the YouTube feed. Really appreciate that. God love you and God bless you for being on the team. 877-711-8500. 888-8500. Please call now. With just a few minutes left in this first hour. We're going to be on in the next hour. We're still playing ACT Bingo, so you can win prizes. That could be fun. And we'll have some sermons for everyday living clips as well. But one of the things that I'm just looking at this clip again from yesterday with Pope Leo blessing this ice cube. Maybe he knew that producer Jake is about to get married, and he's going to need some ice for his, reception after the wedding, I suppose. Maybe that's what he was doing, helping Jake out. But I'm just like watching them with this whole symbology of this, I don't think of this blue, it's supposed to look like a river coming from the ice cube. Like, why do we need to go, like, do all of this emotional, like, what does that do for the environment? You want to help the environment, stop the cobalt mining slave trade that's owned by China and perpetuated by all of us in the West, because I got to have a Tesla, because I got to have a solar panel. But you know what I mean? Like, I got to have windmills that kill birds that need tremendous gallons and gallons and gallons of oil to operate, then catch fire, fall, break, and litter the land. I mean, like, we're not serious, Nicholas Cavazos, about truly trying to be stewards of the environment. We only pretend with this goofy, nonsensical, symbolical stuff. It just boggles my mind.
Yeah, it's when I look at a bunch of old people taking a banner and waving it like water, I just think to myself, not only are they willfully out of touch, but this is also completely useless. And the reason it's completely useless, as you pointed out, is that there is actual slavery going on worldwide. There's actual major issues going on worldwide. And when we look at the name of this institution that the Pope was at, it was something to the effect of like the World Climate Summit for Climate Justice, right? Which just reeks of eco-Marxism, right, because that's what it is. We have to remember who the Pope is dealing with. And again, I'm not trying to bash the Pope with what I'm about to say, but we have to keep this in mind with context. The Pope is meeting with a bunch of secular leftist world globalistic leaders who are there to promote the climate agenda, not because they actually care about the climate, and we know this because they continue to build beachfront property at your expense, but because they like control. They like authoritarianism. And of course, one could debate the merits of authoritarianism versus libertarian governments. I'm not going to do that here, but they want to be authoritarian, and they basically want to rule over people's lives. And so why is the Pope meeting with individuals like this? It's because ever since Pope Paul VI, when Pope Paul VI laid down the papal tiara and he went to the UN, which the Vatican previous to that point had condemned pretty harshly, he goes to the UN, he talks about how amazing the UN is, this hyper emphasis on man's dignity in a post-World War II world, and the popes have carried this on. One thing I don't know if you brought up on your show yesterday, but I brought it up on mine, is that on the same day as we saw this horrible stuff about the death penalty, we also saw Pope Leo release an ad about all world religions praying for peace. And in this ad, it was arguably one of the worst ads people have seen thus far, at least in the comments that I've seen. And you see him continue to show scenes from Assisi. It's like there is zero contrition from the hierarchy about any of this stuff. It's just the same project. And I'll finish by saying this, that what scares people so much about this realization is I think with these statements, we're realizing that not only are we not going to get any kind of doctrinal relief, which we were hoping for, but now we're going to have the next 15 to possibly 20 years of confusing statements, and this nonsense is going to continue to be institutionalized at your expense.
It's going to give us a great opportunity to provide clarity. I think that's what it's going to do. Jane from Norton, Massachusetts. $25 one time. Praise be to God. Hey, the Rad Trad Dad Show, $25 on the YouTubes. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. God bless you. Thank you for being on the team. Hey, we are just about $100 short of the $2,000 goal for this hour. We're about to hit a new hour, so please call right now, contribute to the cause, and at least get us over that $2,000 mark. That'd be great. 877-711-8500. We're going to take the after show into a live second hour. We've got sermons for everyday living and your commentary, too. We're going to be reading that in the next hour, so join us. 877-711-8500. We'll be right back. Share us with a friend.
Station of the Cross does nothing but affirm me in my faith and help me defend the Catholic principles which I was critical of 6 months ago. God certainly is working through those airwaves. The live call-in shows, I've prayed with thousands of other people through this radio station, and I'm hooked.
I had some tragedies going on within my family, but the station has continued to help me grow and trust, build my love in the Lord more and more each day.
It answers all your questions, and if you don't have questions, it's such food for thought. And it makes sense. And I just love how it's just so natural and the way they come across. You don't have to feel like anybody's trying to convince you of anything because they're generally telling their own story of how they have come to where they are. I just encourage everybody to listen to it, whether they're Catholic or not. There isn't any time of day you can't turn it on that you're not going to get fed something good. So I just love it.
This is the Station of the Cross 2025 Fall On-Air Appeal, Living the Faith Day by Day. All listeners receive half price on tan books and the opportunity to win a pilgrimage to Fatima and Lourdes. All donors who pledge $20 monthly will also receive a bronze scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. For a gift of $30 monthly, you'll also receive the booklet entitled The Catholic Church Has the Answer. All donors who give $50 monthly will also receive the 2026 Catholic Liturgical Calendar from Nelson's Gifts. Our top-level donors of $100 monthly or more will also receive a book by Dr. Scott Hahn entitled Lord Have Mercy, The Healing Power of Confession. To make a donation right now, please call 1-877-711-8500 or visit thestationofthecross.com. You can also donate through our free iCatholic Radio app on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
Your station has great programming, and it actually helps my prayer life by allowing me to say prayers while I'm in the car, moving from spot to spot.
You're listening to the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, WQOM Natick, WPMW Middleborough Center, WHIC Rochester, W225AR Rochester, W257ER Greece, WLOF Elma, WMTQ Elmira, WHVM Owego, WTMI Fleming, WQHE Oil City, WMIH Geneva, W221DI Erie, WGGO Salamanca, W263CZ Olean, WNEB Worcester, WESO Southbridge, W266DK Southbridge, WACE Chicopee, and around the world on iCatholic Radio.
Thank you. God bless you for iCatholic Radio. It has changed my life.
Praise be Jesus Christ. Today we celebrate the Feast of the Guardian Angels. In these last 2 decades, there's been an increase of interest in the angels, especially in the New Age movement, but not exclusively in the New Age movement. There have been a lot of books written about presumed experiences with angels. Then there was the popular television show called Touched by an Angel. And there was even the trend among Catholics of naming their guardian angel, until the Holy See stepped in to correct that in 2001. In 2001, the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments published a document entitled The Directory on Popular Piety and the Liturgy. And this document states, quote, "Popular devotion to the holy angels, which is legitimate and good, can, however, also give rise to possible deviations. The practice of assigning names to the holy angels should be discouraged, except in the cases of Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael, whose names are contained in Holy Scripture." So, while we should invoke Saints Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael by name, we cannot invoke our guardian angels by name, but we simply call upon them as guardian angel. And that is why the guardian angel prayer says, "Angel of God, my guardian dear," and that's it. There's no blank space to insert a personal name or anything like that. And the reason why we cannot name our guardian angels is because they are higher beings than we are. As the scripture says, thou hast made him, that is man, thou hast made man, a little less than the angels. So we are less than the angels because they are pure spirits, whereas we are composed of spirit and matter. But we are, as the scripture says, only a little less than the angels, because we, like them, have an intellect with which we can know God and a free will with which we can choose to love God. And we, like them and with them, are destined to enjoy the vision of God for all eternity. But the wonderful thing is that though they are higher beings than we are, that is, on the hierarchy of being, they are higher than us, nevertheless, God made them to be at our service during our pilgrimage here on earth. The angels, so much more intelligent and more powerful than we are nevertheless at our service. The angels are more intelligent than we are because their knowledge is infused, whereas our knowledge we learn by discursive reasoning through labor and effort, fatigue. They're much more powerful than we are because they're not limited to a material body, which can grow weak with age and sickness. And nevertheless, they are at our service. So if the angels are here to serve us, what exactly are they here to serve us for? Well, the angels have one goal in mind, and that is the glory of God, which, for all of us, consists in our salvation and sanctification. So this is first and foremost in the minds of the angels is the glory of God, and then with regard to their service for us, our salvation and our sanctification. They are prepared to do anything and everything in order to procure our salvation and increase our sanctification. When we think of the assistance of the angels in our lives, we tend to think of material assistance. For example, our guardian angel saves us from getting into a car accident or from falling down the stairs. And this is perfectly legitimate and correct. In fact, it's scriptural. Psalm 90 says, "For he will give his angels charge of you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone." So the angels do indeed protect us physically. But more than protecting our physical health, they seek to protect our spiritual health. Remember, salvation and sanctification. So the angels will enlighten our minds to help us to know the good that we ought to do and the evil that we ought to avoid. In fact, God usually communicates his inspirations to us not directly, but through the mediation of the angels. The angels will also sometimes encourage us to actually do the good that we now understand we ought to do, or to avoid the evil that we know we should avoid. They encourage us by acting upon that sensible part of our soul, our emotions and our sentiments. And so they'll inspire us with joy and peace and fervor for that good that we know we should do. And they'll also put into us a fear, a holy fear, or contempt or aversion for that evil that we know we should avoid. And finally, always in line with our salvation and sanctification. They defend us from evil spirits, from Satan and his minions. To put it simply, we are not smart enough and we are not strong enough to make it through this world safe and sound, saved and sanctified without the help of the angels. And so today, let us thank God for their assistance, and let us glorify God with them by becoming the saints we ought to be. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
877-711-8500. Praise be to God. Welcome to the Living the Faith Day by Day Fall on Air campaign. I'm Joe McClain, host of A Catholic Take. And normally you'd be listening to the Holy Mass in this hour, praise be to God, but that'll be aired tonight at 7 p.m. Do keep us in your prayers if you go to Mass today. We're trying to raise the funds we need to keep the doors open, the lights on, our Catholic radio waves flowing in your backyard, our live video streams, our podcasting, and so much more here at the station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, brought to you by you. If you'd make your best gift right now, it would mean the world to us, 877-711-8500, or donate on our website, thestationofthecross.com. I've got some people to thank. Nicholas Cavazos is still on with us from the last hour. We usually do it after show on the live video streams. We're going to take our after show to the radio today for another second hour. That's what we're doing this hour. So we'll take some of your commentary. You get to have a say in the conversations that we're having today. Praise be to God. We'll be doing that in this hour. Plus, we're playing ACT Bingo, and prizes are at stake. So if you call bingo, you got to send your card to Jake. Jake confirms, and then we mail you stuff. That's how that works. It's a good time. Praise be to God. So get your bingo cards ready. Where do you find them? On the live video feed, in the comments. They're always linked. Jake always puts the link there. So check that out. But to 877-711-8500 is the phone number. Can I just thank some folks? Praise be to God. Anonymous, Mechanicsville, Virginia, first-time donor. One-time gift of $50. Praise be to God. Anonymous, you are on the team, on the board, and your 50 became 100 because it's a matching gift opportunity, so it doubles your impact. Says praying for successful surgery for her 6-month-old grandson today and praying for the well-being of her entire family. Anonymous, be assured of our prayers for you and for your family. Edward, Richmond, Texas, $500. Big gift. Thank you, Edward. Really appreciate that. $500 became $1,000 in a matching gift. Praise be to Jesus. Says, please pray for my 2 daughters for a wedding and special intention. Be assured of that, Edward. We are so grateful to have you on the team. Brigitte from Hollywood, Florida is here. $100 one time. Praise be to God. Pray for Christians in Gaza. Yes, especially. I reported it last hour, but the IDF has surrounded Gaza City. And they are basically saying they intend to treat everyone who's still there as a terrorist, despite the fact that the patriarchs have already announced that they're not going anywhere because they need to stay behind to help those that can't leave. And they're going to be treated like terrorists. Yeah, please pray for what's going on in Gaza right now. It's not a good story there. But Brigitte, we're really grateful for your prayerful and wonderful gift today at 877-711-8500. We got a couple of anonymous donors over on the YouTube feed as well. $50 and $20. Thank you both for that. That generosity means a lot to us. Appreciate having you on the team. You can find that blue donate button on the live video stream there on YouTube. Says, join me in defending the faith. Or you can call 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500, just like Tracy in Rochester, New York, one-time gift of $400. Praise be to God. Thank you for that gift. That means a lot to us. You can also donate on our website. Don't forget, you get access to the drawing for the pilgrimage to Fatima and Lourdes. You get the 50% off at Tan Books. You also, if you come in at the mission partner level, you also get to hang out with Father Robert Mateg on a live video chat once a month for his insiders. You get to become one of his insiders at the mission partner level. Praise be to Jesus. So there's wonderful gifts and thank yous that we're going to send your way just for being on the team. But please do consider a monthly gift. That's so when you pay your monthly bills, we get to pay ours. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's a win-win for everybody. Call now, 8500. Praise be to God. Nicholas, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, I got a question for you. I'm going to change the subject here just a little bit. I didn't prepare you for this at all. But have you seen...
Go for it.
Did you see the Pete Hegseth speech he gave to the generals and admirals?
I did, yes.
Can I just, Jake, put me on screen here. I want to play a little clip of this and get Nicholas's commentary. If you've not seen the full speech, you got to watch the full speech. Just this clip alone is worth the price of admission. Have a listen.
It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Nicholas Cavazos, are we back? Does this solve our problems? Are we gonna become American greatness again? What say you?
Well, first I just want to say, okay, Boomer, with the baby memes. We get it, we get it. But in a general sense, I hope that America's at least on the right track. One of the things I'm emphasizing on my upcoming show, The American Nationalist, which is going to be a political show that I'm going to be launching with Pelican Plus, but it's also going to be here on YouTube, so never fear, YouTubers, is this notion that one of the reasons why America is broken, in at least the world of natural civics, is because we don't have a lot of leaders who are actually nationalists, meaning that they actually want the United States to be its own independent, sole, sovereign nation, and to fight for its own rights and to fight for its own place into the world and pursue excellence and virtue, etc. But I am encouraged, at least with this. While not perfect, there's a lot of good that's taking place right now in the Department of War. There's been a lot of just political maneuverings, obviously for all time involved with war, but especially over the last 5 to 10 years with not only the DEI and the woke nonsense, but just also this very passive anti-American poison that's been inserted into so many of just the fields of U.S. life. We see this, I think, most manifest when it comes to stuff like academia and entertainment, but it definitely has happened to the military. So is the U.S. back? Well, let's just say I'm praying that we're at least on the right track.
You know, there's been a lot of videos coming out in response to Pete Hegseth from military members, not all of which are very good. Some of them are, basically berating him for his comments. So it's one thing to say, hey, we're going to go in this new direction. It's quite another for everybody to be lockstep, even in the military, to be all on board and to go along to get along. You can't allow that much wokeism to infect the body and expect that it's going to turn on a dime. So the real question in my mind is, so they set these 10 directives out, and they've obviously, with this speech and Donald Trump's speech in front of these generals and admirals and command sergeant majors, etc., they set the precedent. But I'm going to say it's going to take a generation to turn that ship around. How long do you think it would take if they had everything working in their right direction?
Yeah, a generation at a bare minimum, if not more. And the reason I say if not more is because what America needs right now is a psychological and philosophical reset. What I mean by this is that when we look at the vast swath of Americans, and particularly young people, this is just the world that I live in, most Americans aren't proud to be an American, don't know what being an American means. They mock the notion that America has a culture, which is rooted in a European culture. So this is often manifested by either A, making fun of white people, or saying that white people don't have a culture. And this whole mentality has been adopted because of the public school education system, because of colleges, etc., for so long now, that we have a whole generation of people that if we were to be invaded, probably wouldn't get off the couch to actually fight for their own nation. Like, that's an actual serious systemic issue that we have inside of our nation. But in order to recover not only what the founding fathers wanted, but also just a semblance of normalcy when it comes to one's own nation, we have to have a philosophical reset. We have to go back to first principles, if you will, inside of the great system of Americanism. Calm down, Catholics. I'm not talking about the heresy of Americanism. There's a difference. And so we have to have this, because if this doesn't happen, then we will continue to be not only kind of a globalist pawn that's moved around, but continue to allow ourselves to be enslaved to the destiny that we don't want to have happen to us.
I want to give some people some shout outs here that are watching and hanging out with us today and read some of your comments too. I've got some people to thank, and I'm just so grateful for everybody who's contributed to our fall on air campaign. It does mean the world to us because your financial contributions allow us to do what we do here. Praise be to God. Allows us to get up at 3-something in the morning, 5 days a week, and bring you the latest news, conversation, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you for doing that. Mary in Gatesville, New York. $50 one time. Thank you for that. It says, pray. It says, from Mary, who is named after the Blessed Virgin Mary. Praise be to God. Pray for all 5 of her children and her husband. Mary, be assured of our prayers. Thank you for your gift. It means a lot to us. 877-711-8500 is the phone number to call. 877-711-8500. Let me know what you guys think in the chat boxes about either the papal optics that we discussed in the last hour. What do you think about Pope Leo blessed in the ice cube? That'd be very interesting to get your take on that. And I definitely want to know who's watched the Hegseth speech, and let me know what you think. I think I already saw Caleb the mechanic weighing in. He says, I'm a big fan of the fact that he called for the return to the 90s standard for discipline. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of the fact that Hegseth says generals and admirals actually have to pass the PT test. Like, that's kind of a step in the right direction, if I'm being honest. Praise be to Jesus. Although most of the officers that I ever encountered while in the Marine Corps, they were clearly doing PT every day. They could pass those tests, at least when I was in back in 91 to 95. Hey, good morning, Damon. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mary. Praise be to God. Thank you, Mary. You were amazing. Damon, Nick the Mike, Jane Steves, James 16897 from sunny Romania. Good morning to you. Paul, our friend from Buffalo, is back. Praise Jesus. Rebecca, I see you there. Sharon, you are amazing. Thank you again for your generous $100 gift earlier. That was so cool. God bless you and God love you. Let's see here. Kevlar Catholic is back. Praise, you're waiting for the coffee to kick in. Me too, brother. I haven't had enough. I think that's my problem. Jerome, good morning to you. Sci-fi from sunny Rochester, home of the garbage plate. Do you have garbage plates for breakfast, or is that just simply a lunch or a dinner thing? I'm curious. Anna, good morning to you, Anna. Thanks for being on the team today. Says Joan of Arc, Agustina de Aragon. Yes, I agree with you, but there are some women who were born to fight. Well, there are exceptions to the rule. And Anna brought this up, asking me about my opinion of Hegseth's views on women in combat. And Hegseth basically said, and this is where I would disagree with Hegseth. He said, we're going to have a male standard for combat roles. If women can pass the male standard, then so be it. I think that's what he said. And I would disagree completely. As Holy Roman Emperor, if you would vote for me to be Holy Roman Emperor, vote early, vote often. That's my argument. That's my pitch for that. If I get to be Holy Roman Emperor, then I'm not going to allow women to fight in combat ever, anywhere. I wouldn't allow Israel to put women in combat. I wouldn't allow America to put women in combat. No one ever is allowed. As Holy Roman Emperor, I wouldn't allow that ever anywhere on planet Earth. Would there be an exception? Yes, St. Joan of Arc would be an exception, but it's an obvious exception. Heaven decides, that exception, not me, and certainly not America or anybody else. Women, it's not for women to fight. It's for men to fight. It's for men to protect the precious and beautiful resource that is women. And it just boggles the mind that we've sort of embraced this. Nicholas Cavazos, what say you?
Yeah, women shouldn't be fighting in a combat role at all. That being said, I do think there are exceptions to this in the case of extreme necessity. So if, for instance, the United States is getting invaded, then I'm not going to say that women shouldn't contribute in some form or fashion whenever, we need every single able body, so to speak, that we possibly can. But again, it's definitely not the ideal. It reminds me actually of Isaiah chapter 5, where the Lord talks about, as one of the curses that are upon Israel because of their disobedience, women rule over them. And this is something a lot of modern commentators obviously don't like. I'm sure you guys who go to the Novus Ordo probably don't hear that sermon getting preached very often from your pulpits. But it's just the truth. And so, yeah, it would only be in the cases of extreme necessity. But it's also at the same time, in those cases of necessity, there can be a lot of, gratefulness that women can at least do something. Because think about it this way. All of our great ancestors who were settlers, who are pushing America out west, they came into contact with lots of savage tribes. And let's be honest, they were pretty barbaric and savage, many of those tribes. And those tribes would come and they would destroy your farm. They would kill your wife. They would do all kinds of horrible things. And they would psychologically break people. So if I'm out there in the Old West and my wife happens to join me with the Henry repeater next to me, I'm not going to be like, well, honey,
Well,
get back in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's defending yourself. That's a different argument altogether. We're talking about putting women in combat positions, in forward positions where they're offending, they're going on the offense. You know, it's a different thing altogether. Of course, defense. If my wife had to defend, her kids against an intruder in the house, I wouldn't bat an eye at that. I don't think anybody would, but we're talking about something completely different here. By the way, can I just give some shout outs here? 877-711-8500. Edward, Brooklyn, New York. Praise be to God. Thank you, Edward. First-time donor and $1 a day giver. Praise be to Jesus. A mission partner level gift, which means it's matched dollar for dollar, and you get that 10 books discount. You get into the drawing for the pilgrimage. You also get to hang out with Father McTagg once a month on a live video call at the mission partner level and above. Edward, so grateful for your generosity this hour. 877-711-8500. If you, my dear listener, like candid conversation about the headlines from a Catholic perspective, why not contribute to the cause? 877-711-8500. Tracy asked for prayers, says, please pray for my son to return to the church and my daughter and new son-in-law in their marriage. Be assured of that. By the way, Jane asked earlier for us to pray for her family. Jane from Norton, Massachusetts. I'm sorry, didn't you read your prayer request, but be assured of our prayers for you. Thank you for your generous gift. 877-711-8500. Almost $1,500 raised so far just this hour. Can you help us break that $1,500 mark? Call now with your best gift. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Praise be to Jesus. Hey, P. Smith says, agree, Joe McClain. Are you listening now? You hear that, Jake? I mean, just write that down. Write yourself a note. Agree with Joe McClain. That's P. Smith's comment there. It's sage advice. I think you should just take note of that.
Sorry, my finger slipped, and it looks like that comment is no longer there.
Stop.
I don't know. I don't think it ever existed in the first place.
Should
Joe.
I
think you're.
Should I revoke the band hammer? I don't know. But P. Smith says, agree, Joe McClain. Forced to defend is different than going into combat, which I wish our military wouldn't allow at all. By the way, I almost forgot. Did Yvonne call bingo?
Did she?
She called bingo.
Did I miss it?
Yvonne has called bingo. It's official. Let me
check
Yvonne,
my
you know what
email.
you got to do.
Let me
You got to
check my
mail
email.
your bingo card to Jake, and he will confirm, and then we mail prizes. That's how that works. That's that simple. Praise be
I
to
don't
Jesus.
see an
But
email
hold your
yet.
Cards.
Maybe we should.
Hold
maybe we
your
should,
cards.
Maybe we should
Wait for the
play.
confirmation.
Maybe we should play another great sermon about the guardian angels while I check for this
Maybe.
alleged bingo.
The alleged bingo. The alleged. I like that. That's great. The
Hasn't been
alleged
confirmed
bingo.
yet. So.
Right. So, all right. So maybe we're going to go to the second sermon here in just a second. We'll continue our conversation after. But Yvonne is called bingo. Hold your cards, because even if she is like telling the truth, allegedly telling the truth, then we will play probably four corners after that. So there's still more prizes to be had.
The game
so
will
hold
go
your
on.
cards, but don't hold your fingers from dialing 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Help us to get over that $1,500 mark this hour. Nicholas Cavazos, traditional Thomist, is on the team. We're talking about the headlines, and the Hegseth speech was so good. It's gotten lost in the papal optics stories that we've been discussing, so I wanted to bring it back onto the table. Karen from Carlisle, PA, in at the mission partner level. Praise Jesus. Asking for increasing a pledge from 70, increasing a pledge. Karen, you've stepped it up. You are so amazing. Pray for Rebecca, diagnosed with cancer. Stepson Sean, going through a difficult time. Be assured of our prayers for your intentions, Karen. And you stepping up your pledge and increasing that really means a lot. So thank you for that. 877-711-8500. Going to the second sermon for everyday living this hour. One of the best things we can do and ask our guardian angels for So listen to this, enjoy it, but please call while you're listening, 877-711-8500 with your best gift. We'll be back in just about 7 minutes from now. Don't go anywhere.
Today we have a happy and consoling feast, that of the Holy Guardian Angels, much like the Feast of the Holy Archangels, which we celebrated just a few days before. And some of what I said there would apply here likewise, but a quick recap. We can know a cause by its effects if we're unable to know the cause directly, which is to say we don't have direct communication with our angels, at least not in the way we would like. It would be so wonderful if we could just see them sitting next to us, or if we could hold conversation with them. But nonetheless, we ought to petition them, and certainly some of those petitions will be answered, and in so doing, we will see their fingerprints, as it were, left on our petitions. And so, starting with the most basic things, it's quite all right to ask for petty and mundane things if they be in conformity with the will of God. You can ask your guardian angels to help you find your car keys when they're lost. You can ask them to protect you as you go down a dark alley. And these are just fine, as long as these requests help us in our vocations, help us to move closer to God in some larger fashion, then surely the angels will assist in that. I suggested furthermore that some particularly helpful things that the angels might contribute to would be to ask them to fortify our faith with regards to the things that we must take on faith, but for which they have vision. And so here's a perfect example. With all due qualifications, although an angel is not contained to time or place, and therefore no space in here, for our purposes, you might as well say that the holy angels are sitting right next to you. And while all that we see here is an altar, candles, all the trappings of the Mass, what do they see? They see the entire glory of the Mass revealed, as is metaphorically relayed in the book of Revelation, the Lamb who is slain, shining with the beauty of 1,000 suns, all the myriad angels and saints. That is what they see at Mass. And if they're given to us as our particular protectors, our custodians, our assistants, would it not be a prayer very pleasing to God if we were to say to them, my dear angel, my dear guardian, what you see with unveiled face, help me to see at least more clearly with the eyes of faith, that you are right here looking upon these holy mysteries, and I believe them. Help me to believe even more. Likewise, we can also take consolation in the scripture which tells us that God will never allow us to be tried beyond our means. But what it doesn't say is that he'll never allow us to be tried beyond the means that we have available to us only by our own nature. So if it ever feels at times like you're being pressed to the breaking point, or that you just can't go any further, or you feel so discouraged, it may well be true that God is allowing us to be tried beyond our own breaking point. Scripture says that we will never be tried beyond what we can resist, but that is inclusive of all of the heavenly help that God's providing us. And so let that never be the measure. I can't go any further. Let us never become so discouraged that we think that we have no more recourse. Because look at this whole heavenly host, which we so often are not cognizant of, but will come at the hour of need if we avail ourselves of it. God will never allow us to be truly tried beyond the means which he provides. Today, I had occasion to reflect on a particular aspect of all this with news of the tragic shootings in Oregon. And from the very brief headlines that I read this morning, at least one eyewitness was claiming that Christians were being targeted in a particular way. When the shooter would walk into a room, of course everyone was down and trying to duck or hide, that they were told the Christians should stand up, and that they were targeted in a particular way for execution. Now, amongst these Christians, or Christians, let it be said, in any part of the world, because the ranks of martyrs are being added to on a daily basis around the world. But it just occurred to me, since we're reflecting on our heavenly patrons, our protectors, what of these people that cried to God and cried to their angels, help me, save me, protect me? And so many times we see words such as this found in the Psalms. Do not let my enemy triumph over me. Protect me in the day of evil. Let my enemies not triumph over me. Let me be held fast as a strong tower, so on and so forth. Many of these words applied to Christ as he's undergoing his passion. And so the question that pose itself to me is ultimately, amidst all the other things that we can ask for our petty and mundane requests, for increases of faith, for fortification in times of trial, what is the greatest thing that we could ask of our heavenly patrons, and particularly of our guardian angels? Would it not be, let us suppose that the scenario plays out, at least as it was relayed, Christians stand up? Would our greatest prayer not be to our angels, poke me, give me a prompting, give me a movement, make me stand up? Would that not be the greatest prayer and the greatest assistance that the angels could provide? Because all of these things that ask God, let my enemies not triumph over me, let me hold fast in the day of evil. Ultimately, the greatest test about which it's speaking is that we cling to God with all of our heart, all of our mind, all of our strength, and not even fear of death would deter us. And if we are successful in that, if we were to win something so exalted as the martyr's crown of glory, then it would be mere seconds or minutes before we took our place at the side of our angels and were to see what they see with unveiled face, to be among the ranks of the blessed in heavenly glory, secure for all time, for all eternity. That is the greatest prayer and the greatest answer to prayer that we could possibly have. And so the book of Revelation, when it's speaking about the martyrs, says that love for life did not deter them from death. So rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell therein. And likewise it is said of God that precious in the eyes of God is the death of his faithful ones. And so whatever martyrs may have been added to the ranks of the blessed this day, and surely in recent weeks around the world, we ask for their intercession, as well as that of our holy angels, that above all, in addition to all of the needs of our daily lives, that we might hold fast in our times of greatest trial, and so one day join them in the ranks of the blessed. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
877-711-8500, 877-711-8500. Praise be to God. Welcome back to the fall campaign for our on-air fund drive, raising the money we need to continue our operations here at the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network. And I got to tell you, in the world of EWTN Catholic Radio, there's none like us. I can tell you that, boy. Sometimes we get called the redheaded stepchild of the EWTN radio world, but that's okay. I'll take it. Praise Jesus. You know, we clarity and charity, but truth all the same. That's part of our mission here. If that's something you believe in, would you consider a gift contributing to the cause? We're very close to, we're about $1,700 in this hour, so we're not far from 2,000. We've got 2 segments left in the hour. Would you consider helping us get over the $2,000 mark? That'd be amazing. 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500, or you can donate on our website, thestationofthecross.com, or even on that blue donate button on the live video feed on YouTube. That's an option too. 877-711-8500. Joe, you're the only one who calls us, what, redheaded stepchild, black sheep of the family? No, trust me, Jake. I know. They're all calling you that behind your back. I know.
No one else calls us that because they all think that's politically incorrect.
Your back, so it helps, but
they think those phrases are politically incorrect.
My phrases. Hey, Jane, Joe is redheaded stepchild. Is that a Marine expression? You've never heard? Okay, raise your hand if you've never heard the term redheaded stepchild. How is that? Like, my whole generation was called redheaded stepchild. That's like such a common thing. Nicholas, you're a young man. You've heard that term before, right?
I've heard that term, but it's because I'm an old soul. So I don't know how much of Gen Z has heard that phrase, to be honest. But yeah, the whole notion of people being worried it's politically incorrect. I was like, oh no, I know the demographics of this show, because this show would already be banned if there was a bunch of young people on. It would be too hot.
Get off my lawn, you whippersnapper! Good grief, redheaded stepchild. It's so common. Everybody says that.
It was common. No one uses it anymore, but
everyone uses it.
It was a very common phrase. Correct.
No, apparently not. I guess not. Good morning, everybody. We're glad to see you here hanging out in the chat boxes, by the way. Love to see the commentary. Let me know if there's any questions you want to throw at Nicholas Cavazos today while we have him. That'd be very good. By the way, Nicholas Cavazos is going to be a regular on the show. Thursdays moving forward. We're happy to have him in his political commentary and his thoughts on church issues inside the church, outside the church, all points in between. So, Nicholas, we're looking forward to that. When do you launch your political show, by the way?
So Pelican Plus, which is a new Catholic streaming platform, it's going to be launching October 7th. So everyone keep an eye out for that. It's going to be pretty epic. There's going to be a lot of different Catholic contributors to this, but not only just Catholic stuff. There's going to be a lot of cool like daily living things as well that are going to be linked into that. More info coming on my show. But my political show itself is probably going to be starting around the 1st of November or so. And it's going to be pretty extensive. It's going to be a morning show, probably a 2-hour morning show. Every single day, kind of a pre-recorded show, and then split up and sent out to various channels on YouTube. And then every night, Monday through Friday, we'll be doing probably a 2-hour live stream with lots of guests and things along that nature. So trying to actually build a legitimate political empire through the avenue of a show. And so if you guys want to come and check it out, it'll be pretty epic. You guys can type in the American Nationalist on YouTube and you'll be able to find it around that time. So don't go looking now because you won't find anything. But at that time, yeah, the American Nationalist with Nick Cavazos.
And Claffy, thank you again. This is like your third or more donation. Really appreciate you. God bless you. God love you. We really love having you on our side of the team. Praise be to Jesus. Donating through the YouTube feed today. Hey, Magnificat Scriptorium, our good friend Rudy Carlos, the host of Ask a Priest Live, is in the chat box today. We are that cool. We are so cool that Rudy Carlos from Ask a Priest Live hangs out with us every single day. Praise Jesus. Will it be neocon? He wants to know, are you a neocon?
I'm not a neocon, but I think the better question is who is Rudy Carlos? Because he pretty much abandoned his friend Jordan Pacheco on the Gladtrad podcast, and we haven't seen him for like 3 years. So, but in real news, in real news, no, I'm not a neocon. I'm a nationalist. That's your short answer.
Sounds like neocon to me. That's it smacks of neocon. You smell that?
He didn't say
I mean,
neoconish.
You are the redheaded stepchild, so of course you smell what you want to smell.
Thank you. Anonymous donated $50. Praise be to God. Thank you, Anonymous. On the team. God love you. Hey, by the way, Jake, did we get any confirmation on the alleged bingo?
I was about to interrupt and say yes. Yvonne has emailed us.
Oh,
and
really?
Right across the middle.
There's no way we talked about
right across the middle, left to right.
Okay. Yeah.
New Hampshire.
Did we talk about New Hampshire?
Joe, you gave that one out for free the very first day.
Did I really do that?
Because you were, yeah, that's your fault for being generous.
Oh, okay.
Next is conspiracy theories.
Never. We have what conspiracy theory have we mentioned?
We never talk about it.
It's like 3/4 of this show.
And then the middle, free space. Once free, always free.
Once free, always free.
And then when I'm elected Holy Roman Emperor, unquote.
Oh, have I mentioned that?
At least 4 times this week.
No.
And impromptu Bible study.
And okay, that I definitely haven't done. When did I do an impromptu Bible study?
Like every episode.
No. Name it. Like exactly which one did I talk about?
You did.
Yeah, you
did all of these. Every single episode, like every single one of them, you've done every single episode.
I don't know. Yvonne, I don't remember the impromptu Bible study. I'll give you a few.
Like ACT Bingo should be renamed the One Trick Pony Show because like it's just so common what you see.
Anonymous, $100. God love you. Thank you. Over on the YouTube feed. You are amazing. All right, Yvonne, you win. You win. You're the winner. All right. Praise Jesus. Fine. I'll have to give you the impromptu Bible study, although I don't recall doing that. But we're going to send you. We're going to mail you stuff. I'm pretty sure I probably got your address because we've mailed you stuff before. So we'll send you a prize just as thank you. But keep your cards. Let's play 4 corners. So if you get 4 corners on the card, then you can call bingo again, and we'll mail you prizes too. Praise be to God. But we're probably gonna have to we're gonna have to set a rule, Jake. If you win ACT bingo, you can't win more than a month. We probably have to take a month break. Would you say that's fair?
I think a month is good.
A month?
Yeah, once a month. Once a month we play bingo because we do 2 rounds of it, right? We do the first, normal bingo, and then we do either blackout or 4 corners, anything like that.
I gave out 4 prizes the first time we played it. Though.
Well, we were testing it out. We had long arguing over bingo rules became a bingo square. So.
It became a bingo square.
So now that we've settled into the format, let's do it like once a month.
Once
ACT
a month
bingo.
sounds
Yeah.
like a
Monthly
sounds
bingo.
like a good deal. Praise Jesus. I was giving out Dr. Taylor Marshall's brand new book, Christian Patriot. That's the 4 prizes I sent. I'll do something different for you, Yvonne, this time. I'll have to. I've got some other great books over here to send, so I might do that too. We'll see. 877-711-8500. We like to have a little fun in the after show, so you're not used to hearing this on the radio side of our apostolate. Generally speaking, we do 1 hour live radio for a Catholic Take, and then we go into what we call the after show just on the live video feeds, where we have a free-for-all, where we ask you for what your opinion is. We get into all kinds of conversation. Generally, that comes down to movies, cars, and Gen X jokes, praise Jesus, and then we give out prizes. That's generally how we do it. As Nick says, we are a one-trick pony, and I'm happy to be so. 877-711-8500. But we're asking for your financial contribution because we're brought to you by you. Without your contribution to our cause, we don't get funding from other outlets. The USCCB doesn't send us money. The USAID is not giving us any cash. Peters Pence, they're too busy funding movies like what's that gay biopic film on the Rocket Man? Like they don't give us any. Okay, so you make it possible. You are the wind in our sails. Consider a gift right now at 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Just like Yvonne just donated $20. You win bingo and you're giving us money too. Praise be to God. It's a win-win for everybody. Yvonne, you are amazing. Thank you for it. 87 to pizza debate. There's no debate, Alberto, our friend from the UK. Pineapple belongs on pizza. There's no debating this. It just is God's holy will for mankind. 877-711-8500 is the phone number to call. Where do you land on pizza and pineapple, Nicholas Cavazos?
I didn't know pizza was really even a food, to be honest. So who knows?
Come now. Are you American? You can't, I'm not sure anymore. Clearly.
I am a red, white, and blue American. Pizza's pretty good. When it comes to pineapples, honestly, I don't really care. As long as it doesn't have lots of mushrooms on it, it's pretty much fair game for me.
You don't like mushrooms?
But pizza's not, it's not even really a meal I go for. It's like if you have the option between, and we do in America, between fried chicken, barbecue, and pizza, who in their right mind is going to pick pizza? It's literally just, especially in our day, it's like cardboard with cheese on it. Because so few places know how to make it right. So
thank you.
So who cares?
Ah, man after my own heart. Wow. Finally, someone who also agrees that Italians know nothing about pizza. It's because it's cardboard with random stuff on top. Deep dish, people. Deep dish. This is God's design for mankind. Kathleen, you are amazing. $50. Praise be to Jesus. The gift on YouTube is getting bigger and bigger, and we couldn't be more grateful to you. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Matching gift hour, dollar for dollar, doubling your best gift. So whatever you give, no matter the size, we can double it with a matching gift. 877-711-8500. Plus, you get into the pilgrimage for Fatima and Lourdes. Plus, you get the 50% off discount at 10. And depending on what level you come in, we have other thank you gifts as well. Call for details or go to our website, thestationofthecross.com, thestationofthecross.com. You can also donate there. But if you call 877-711-8500, volunteers are standing by to take your call and talk to you. Praise Jesus. And we are, of course, praying for your intentions, too. Female Casey Royals fan from Nebraska. Good morning. Welcome back. Always lovely to have you in the chat box. Says, I would probably choose pizza because then I could have cheese pizza with mushrooms and olives on a Friday. You can't have other things on a Friday. Well, you could put tuna on that fish. You could put, or that pizza. I suppose you could do that. Wouldn't be a great.
Tuna's getting even worse. Goodness gracious! Just have some fried fish, people. Fish and chips.
I think Casey Royals is saying that you can't have barbecue meat and fried chicken on a Friday.
Yeah, you can't.
Although she did, but she also said you can't have something to the effect of anything. Right? I don't have the chat.
I think she was. She was referring to the other things.
Kind of exclusive. Seems kind of exclusive.
Technically, what she said, Joe left out a word. She said you can't have the other things on a Friday, which contextually was referring to the barbecue. Yeah.
Allegedly, Joe left out.
But here's the thing: is that the USCCB says that outside of Lent, you can have those things on a Friday as long as you substitute another penance, right?
The USCCB says lots of things that you just are like,
why
what?
do you got to trigger him, Jake? Why do you got to trigger him?
The USCCB can't figure out immigration, much less the menu. So I'm going to say, let's have fried fish instead.
I do want to correct something. You are able to have barbecue on a Friday, and it's not because of what Jake just said. Chupacabra. You can have chupacabra, or what's the big rodent you can have? And what is that thing called? What's the big rodent you're allowed to eat?
Capybara.
And then there's capybara. You can have barbecued capybara. Like that's an option. It's like chicken. It's just like chicken, essentially. Then you can also have alligator tail. Praise Jesus. Barbecued alligator tail is fantastic. I mean, just go to Louisiana.
In other words, there's like a zillion and one. In other words, there's like a zillion and one exceptions that the USCCB has said. They're like, hey guys, so you should only fast like twice a year and only do abstinence 4 times a year. But half of those 4 times a year, we'll put a ton of dispensations in and we'll call it a day because we are Americans and we don't know how to fast.
Yeah. That's right. Los Creole Nutria. The Nutria. I had one in the creek next to me last year, but I bet in Louisiana there's no Nutria left because you guys have eaten them all by now. No doubt. No doubt. No capybara, please, says Janice. They're too cute. Are they really too cute? I don't know. Hey, Cat Can says, because it swims, they convince themselves it is considered a fish, even though it's a large guinea pig. It's a very large guinea pig. So you can barbecue it, praise be to God, and enjoy it. Besides, on Fridays, I like to go full penitential. So, nothing less than crab meat and garlic butter, lobster tail.
Oh, so sad.
Scallops, penitential stuff. Like, exactly. Mea culpa, mea maxima lobster. That's what I'm all about.
And it was through lots of eating of lobster every Friday that Joe merited for us from heaven, Pope Leo. So you're welcome, everybody.
Ouch. Killing us. You're killing us, Smalls. 877-711-8500. We're just going in random directions now, but nonetheless, we do appreciate your generous contributions towards our cause. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Praise be to God. If you can make your best gift, your best donation, dollar for dollar match at 877-711-8500. You can also donate on our website at thestationofthecross.com or on our iCatholic Radio mobile app. If you're listening on the podcast, why not contribute to the cause? If you love our podcast feeds, then, give us maybe $5, $10 one time. We can double it in this matching gift hour. And you also get entered into a drawing for a pilgrimage to Fatima and Lourdes. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Ronnie, good morning to you, Ronnie. Says, yeah, lobster. Lobster, man. We can't get good lobster in Texas, though. That's the problem. You can get good blue crab here, though. In the Gulf, you get a lot of great blue crab. Tastes very good, especially in garlic butter. Good stuff. Mac says, happy anniversary. Thank you, Mac. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Female KC Royals fan says, I had a soft pretzel made in my air fryer last Friday, and I didn't eat it until 8 o'clock p.m. since it was Ember Friday. Yeah, that's the other log we got to put on the fire. How many of us are celebrating the Ember Days? My wife reminded me last week, oh, yeah, it's Ember. It's, Ember, I guess you have to start on Wednesday, Ember Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm like, you're kidding me. Why?
The Ember Days are only partial abstinence.
I have to see that coming like 6 months in advance in order to be emotionally prepared to
partial
fast.
Abstinence, says the pre-1955 supremacist here.
That's what it says. The Ordo says partial abstinence. Partial abstinence.
Fake.
No, Ember Wednesday and Ember Saturday are partial abstinence. That's what the pre-55 Ordo says.
What is this vague word?
That's what it says.
What is this? You have to define terms like this whippersnapper.
What I want is people to return to like Matthew Pleasy standards, which means we don't eat because food is haram, and we just do it that way.
Everyone knows that the material world is evil, right? That's how that works.
So true, says the Gnostics.
We're getting Manichaean. It's another Manichaean Monday. No, it's
Zena
not
says start Ember Days. Yeah, praise be to. Now, generally speaking, Jake, we're pretty good at reminding people about Ember Days and these abstinence days, but we failed miserably last week to remind everybody of
Well,
that.
this was one of those situations where some people were doing it on a different week because things got changed in the mid-20th
I think we should have somebody flogged publicly and fired.
You know what's great is
take a note after the show. Let's have someone beat.
What's great that everyone really forgets is the Rogation days, which some dioceses out west have actually tried to bring back in all churches. Especially in farming regions, and I think it's the Catholic Land Movement has been better at promoting those. The Rogation days are great. It's about blessing the all the grounds of the parish, basically, like the actual the boundaries of what it falls in the geographical parish. Those are great.
And they're tied. They're tied to the farming culture. Again, sort of a lost aspect of our tradition. The Catholic culture based around villages and communities of farmers.
Well, you think of Europe having centuries and centuries of this, where basically every parish was constantly blessing their land, as in the entire geographical parish, year after year after year for centuries. Here in America, that was happening for a very brief amount of time, and only in certain areas where there were Catholics. So we've got a lot of catching up to do to really kind of sanctify the American landscape. It's still very wild. It's almost like it's still kind of pagan, off in the wilderness, because it hasn't had the lordship of the Catholic Church directly over every square foot of land the way that Europe had for so long. So there's a lot of work that we need to do, basically.
Does the lordship of the Catholic Church exist in the Vatican at the moment? That's my question.
Obviously.
So I don't know. I don't know, Jake. I don't know. I'd like to see another.
I thought we were supposed to have Catholics on this show, Joe.
We're abstaining at the moment. We're fasting. Hey, you know what hasn't happened that needs to happen is that phone line hasn't rung in the last, 15 minutes or so. So we're running out of time in this hour.
I was curious.
Yeah. It is a real phone. There's actual people
every ring is a real person
to answer it. Edward Clancy,
I was
good morning to you.
Have, phones like
Edward says new ACT game show. Name that heresy. That could be fun, actually.
That would be good. That would be a great.
Could we do an ACT bingo card with only boxes that have heresies in them?
Well,
that could be interesting.
I don't think
Probably
bingo would work. This seems more like a quiz show.
Name that heresy.
We've got the music all picked up for a quiz show already.
Hey, I need the phone line to ring before I run out. All seriousness here, but kidding aside, we need the phone line to ring to hit our goal. 877-711-8500. We've had some great gifts come through on YouTube in this hour. We've had some wonderful gifts come by phone, but the phone line has not rung in a while. It's time to get it ringing again. Any gift, any size, whatever you can do, please pick up that phone and dial 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500. Please call now. Make your best gift. It's a matching gift hour. We have lots of ways to thank you for your generosity, but honestly, we just want to use your hard-earned money to continue our work here at the Station Across Catholic Media Network, sharing the good, the true, and the beautiful with serious topics, and then obviously having casual conversation too. It's all a part of what we do. And to also include our other programs like Jim Havens, Father McTagg, Ask a Priest Live, our Saints and Sinners and Saints and Seasons type of content, our pious content, the Holy Rosary, and so much more, all across our network, to include even our sermons for everyday living, the kind of homilies that you can only dream about getting in your local parish. We play them right here every day on this network, and we need your financial contribution to continue to do that. 877-711-8500, 877-711-8500. Praise be to God in all things. For all the commentary that I'm seeing in the chat box today, so Roxanne was saying a priest friend visited central Louisiana where the population is almost all Catholic, and he said it was like a Disneyland for a priest. Well, South Louisiana is deeply Catholic. And I would say it's probably one of the epicenters of piety in America, to be sure. That doesn't mean they're perfect. I spent a lot of time in Louisiana. It doesn't mean they're perfect, but there are some amazing Catholics there in Louisiana, and we're very grateful for it too. Praise Jesus. William Jones, good morning to you. KSB, you're too snarky. Got to go. See what you have done now, Jake.
Yes, I'm to blame for being too snarky.
Poor KSB. What have you done to KSB? Hey, that quiz show would be very cool, says Yuman. It would be. It would be a lot of fun. You just want to win more prizes, Yuman. She's figured out the code, the cheat code. She's winning. She's winning all the time. Colin, good morning to you. By the way, Colin says on Fridays, it's all donuts all the time. Total penance.
Exactly.
for Colin on Friday. Praise be to God. Susie from Down Under. Good evening to you, Susie from Australia. Praise be to Jesus. Glad to have you on the team today. 877-711-8500. 877. We're talking about tortillas. You guys are killing me in the chat box. I'm so hungry right now. And I'm mostly carnivore, which means I can't have tortillas. 877-711-8500. 877-711-8500. Can I just say the best tortillas I've ever had were from Taco Cabana. I don't know what they put in those tortillas. I think they put like a pound of sugar and crack or something, because there's something addictive about the tortillas at Taco Cabana. I am sure they are not good for you. But man, I could eat a mountain of those things when I was a kid. 877-711-8500. Looking for that phone line to ring before we have to say goodbye here in just a moment. There'll be a new team on the hook in the next hour to continue our fundraising effort, because I'd love to say, you know what, it's cheap and easy to run a network that has a ton of employees, great programming that we produce. Programming is the most expensive thing when it comes to media apostolates, which is why most of these networks, they actually just play someone else's content instead of producing their own in-house. But we produce our own in-house, even though we're an EWTN radio affiliate, because we want to make sure that there's a better balance in that program, that we don't avoid the difficulty and hard topics that we actually talk about, which is why last hour we addressed the papal optics and the fallout that has in the lives of Catholics and those that are looking at the Catholic Church and maybe not becoming Catholic because of some of this papal optics stuff, let alone dancing and playing with heresies at times. So we talk about those, and we do I would say a great job at it, sometimes a not so great job at it, but we do it nonetheless. Clarity is charity, and we're here to proclaim the good, the true, and the beautiful, and your contribution to help make that continue is very, very important to us. 877-711-8500. Please call now. Nicholas Cavazos, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being on the team today. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. Share us with a friend. Until then, God love you and God bless you.
You're listening to the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, WQOM Natick, WPMW Middleborough Center, WHIC Rochester, W225AR Rochester, W257ER Greece, WLOF Elma, WMTQ Elmira, WHVM Owego, WTMI Fleming, WQAG Oil City, WMIH Geneva, W221DI Erie, WGGO Salamanca, W263CZ Olean, WNEB Worcester, WESO Southbridge, W266DK Southbridge, WACE Chicopee, and around the world on iCatholic Radio.
Welcome to Catholic Connection with Teresa Tomeo, keeping you connected to your faith and your world. Teresa tackles the issues of faith and culture, the pro-life message, and media awareness. And now, here's Teresa Tomeo.
Great to be with you here on EWTN, and so excited to have Kevin Matthews back on with us, to the point where we're doing an entire hour with Kevin this morning. Now, Kevin is the subject of a beautiful film that is out October 7th. He was with us a few weeks ago, but our backgrounds are so similar in terms of being from major market radio. I just had to have him back on for a number of reasons. For that reason, the things we share in common, plus his incredible reversion to the Catholic faith. So the movie Broken Mary, the Kevin Matthews story, will be in theaters October 7th. And if you'd like to find out a theater, or maybe even make sure you can get a theater to see the film, brokenmaryfilm.com. The Kevin Matthews story, again, brokenmaryfilm.com. Kevin, thanks for coming back on with me. Good morning.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back. I'm honored. Thank you.
Well, let's for our listeners who didn't hear the first interview, I'll summarize a little bit of your journey, and then I want you to build on it. You had an extremely over-the-top successful career in secular radio in a major market such as Chicago, big time Midwest. I mean, you were a name to be reckoned with. You had really great ratings. You made a ton of money. And then things changed in your life to the point where God brought you to your knees and brought you to a broken statue of Mary, a statue that is still such a part of your life, obviously a big part of your life, and also the subject of the movie. It ties in with your story. So just give us a little bit more detail on what brought you to your knees exactly in terms of this whole change of your amazing life.
Well, I brought myself to my knees because I was born Catholic, and God is love, and God is always with us. As long as we're alive on earth, he's always with us. And I created the havoc that torpedoed me. And we had an incredible radio station. I worked with the best: Johnny Brandmeier, Steve Dahl, Gary Meyer. Our station at night, we ran the Bulls, and that new kid, Michael Jordan, he had a pretty good career. And we had 10 million people listening to us a week. We were the Rolling Stones of radio. And everything eventually changes. Technology, satellite radio, cell phones. And little by little, the Titanic hit the iceberg, and it started to break apart, and people left. And here I am. I decide I'm going to leave Chicago because they wanted to reduce my pay, and I wanted to go back home where it all started. My career started where I was born in Michigan, and I did. And again, I decided to make that decision. I thought we could sell our house in Chicago easy. Well, it took 4 years to sell our house, and now I'm commuting back and forth. And literally my life was up on the rocks. I was a zombie Catholic, didn't really need to go to church anymore. I used an excuse to leave the church. And here I am back and forth. My life is a train wreck. I'm on a station, but it's just one day on that station that I went back where it all started in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm on the air. It's a Tuesday morning, 7:16 in the morning, a.m. Eastern time. All of a sudden I can't move my hand. I can't move my arm. I can't move my leg. I'm thinking I'm having a stroke, and I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't, I had such low self-esteem. I didn't go to the hospital until Friday, when I drove myself back to Chicago. I went to emergency. They took an MRI. They found a mass in my brain. The neurologist, she said, we think it's a brain tumor, and where it's located, we're not going to be able to operate. We're going to take a biopsy in 2 weeks, go home and prepare for the worst. Now think of it, and at that time, I just had no